Hello, my name is Wyatt Martinson, and I am here to tell you about Prerequisite 1 and Credit 1 for the Energy and Atmosphere lead topic. We will start with the first prereq for this topic, Fundamental Commissioning and Verification. Before we start, there are some important definitions that will help in understanding the Prereq and Credit 1. Some of the more important definitions are the basis of design, which is more or less just drawings and codes for the project. Another important definition is the commissioning of the project, which is the order of authorizing power for the project. Next is the commissioning authority, which is the person in charge of issuing the commission. And last important definition is the owner's project requirements, which is the higher level detail of the project. Now, on to the intent of Prereq 1, which is to support the owner's energy and atmosphere requirements, not just during construction, but also during operation of the facility, which is this prereq applies to all 8 project types as shown in the slide. The first requirement of this prereq is to develop the commissioning process scope, which is mainly to establish some of those items talked about in the definitions, such as the DOB, OPR, and commissioning authority. The next requirement is to have an established commissioning authority, who is usually directly contracted to the owner. A lot of he or she does is to create, implement, and document everything in the commissioning process scope for the actual construction. Depending on the project, they also need to have past experiences in the respective project type or other qualifications. Here is a slide showing all the requirements needed to be the commissioning authority based on who they work for, project size, and if it is only for the prereq or for credit 1. The last requirement for prerequisite 1 is to establish the facility requirements as shown, most of which are a part of the commissioning process scope already. Data center projects have an extra item added to the list because of the energy they consume. LEED gives us an easy step-by-step process to achieve this prereq, including reminders to review documents and update any changes into the OPR, BOD, and commissioning plan, which are sometimes overlooked or forgotten about. All of what we've talked about so far must be appropriately documented and submitted to LEED in order to fulfill this requirement before moving forward. Now we will move on to the first energy and atmosphere credit available, enhanced commissioning. The intent of this credit is really just a furtheration of the commissioning done for the prerequisite. Also, all types of projects are eligible for 2 to 6 points in this credit depending on what they fulfill. There are 2 different options to earn points from this credit. Before we consider either, we must fulfill all requirements previously talked about in the prerequisite 1 for this credit. The 2 options include option 1, enhanced system commissioning, which has 2 different paths, and option 2, envelope commissioning. Option 1, path 1 of this credit is worth 3 points. It requires the commissioning authority to carry out a variety of tasks for the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and renewable energy systems. This includes reviewing submittals, verifying and updating manuals, verifying seasonal testings, and develop an ongoing commissioning plan, among other responsibilities. Option 1, Path 2, is worth 4 points, but requires completion of Option 1, Path 1. On top of that, the commissioning authority needs to develop ways to measure performances of the project's energy and water-consuming systems. There is a list of activities the commissioning authority needs to do in order to achieve this as shown in the slide. Option 2 only has one path for 2 points. It requires the same work as Option 1, Path 1, but for the building's thermal envelope instead of the MEP and renewable energy systems of the building. Please take note of that. Also, as we saw in Prereq 1, data centers have an extra element to monitor the energy use, which is shown here in the slide. LEED again gives an easy step-by-step guidance to earn points in this credit. First shown is the guidance for achieving Option 1, Path 1, which takes 9 steps. Some of the steps include development training requirements, reviewing contractor submittals, verify training, perform seasonal testings, and develop ongoing commissioning plans. Option 1, Path 2, only has 4 steps, but remember you must go through all of Option 1, Path 1 to reach this path. Then, the commissioning authority must update commissioning plans to include monitoring-based commissioning requirements, confirm that the monitoring-based commissioning requirements are fully incorporated to enhance commissioning plan, and implement the new monitoring-based commission. Lastly, Option 2 is reached by doing similar steps to that of Option 1, Path 1, but for the building's thermal envelope instead of the MEP and renewable energy of the building. In conclusion, here is a list of all documents needed to gain this credit, all of which we have discussed. Hope you the best in your quiz and in your GA exam. Thanks.